Hey, I'm back again. What's going on? This is Talking 90 Day with T Berry. All right. So, I like that song. I'm going to change on the next one, but I like that song for right now. All right. So, I just did episode 4, and now we're about to get into episode 5. Um, Again, I got to let you know it's going to be some adult language used on this, but, I'm just keeping it real. I'm just going to keep it real with you. All right, so let's start with the let's get into the show. All right, so it starts off with Kobe and Emily. So I'm not the biggest fan of Kobe, or not Kobe, but Emily. I like Kobe. Kobe seemed cool cat, and I like his vibe, real laid back. He came out here with not knowing what to expect, really. A lot changed, but like this dude's vibe. Emily, she's spoiled as hell. So we've already run into a problem. Emily, Emily. So Emily like breastfeeding all over the house and wherever. So I know there's this breastfeeding community that's probably gonna try to take my head off. But this is my channel. So um, Kobe has an issue with that. For one, the baby is 17 months. So, I've asked around, about how long, moms usually breastfeed before they, either put them on a bottle or they start eating food. And I heard around 9 months is good. Now, I know, like I said, there's this breastfeeding community who want to breastfeed their kids till they grown. Um, but I don't know how to feel about that. I know if I got a girl and we have a kid, um, yeah, I want that kid off them breasts ASAP. Well, not ASAP, when they ready, but we ain't talking about like the kid walking, talking, eating, steak at the dinner table and sucking on titty, you know, for they milk. I'm not, and we not sharing them. I don't. We'll share them until you good. Until you good, and then we gotta wean you off. And so I know she made a statement in the episode that it's a wonderful thing to her because of how hard it was to get to this point. So I understand that as much as I can. And so, but I think what Kobe is really asking is just to have some kind of, you know, I'm not gonna say class, but just have some sort of respect for people who, for him, he's new to this, so it's a lot, And she walk around with no bra on, ready to pop a titty out at any minute, and it's like, you know, you can go to another room and or you can cover up. They have things to cover up. Now I look at it like if my daughter was with me and she had a kid, you know, I would probably either leave the room myself or just be like, hey, you can do that in your room or something like that. Only because I'm not trying to be, looking at my daughter just popping the titty out. It's just different. And people, this breastfeeding community specifically are talking about it's natural and not to sexualize um, breastfeeding or anything like that. And it's not so much that the breastfeeding part is sexualized. It's just the popping out of the breast. If you out in town and you pop one out, people gonna look, and it's not because of anything other than that's what men like breasts, regardless if they got filled with milk or they not or whatever. They want to see some breastises. So that's something you can't control. And just because you feel that you're breastfeeding and um, this is natural and this is feeding my kid, in the wrong situations, it's gonna be some sickos out there, and you can't control them sickos. So, now Emily's pops kind of jumps in the conversation when they're having a little argument, and he's fine with it. This and again, it might be a culture thing, it might be a location thing, it could be a lot of variables that play into this that makes him think it's okay. But again, like I said, if I'm the father, I'm gonna tell my daughter, like, we eating here at this table. You picking up your grown ass kid and popping him on the tit while we trying to eat. Like, the kid can sit at the table and is eating food. Why does he need to be on the tit like that? It's weird. It's not weird. It's just different. It's something different that I don't understand, because everybody in that household understands and said it was normal. So it is what it is. But and even the pumping though, if the kid needs to be breastfed, that's one thing. But the pumping, I would think that could be done in like another area, because you're putting the milk up, so he can't. Like, I thought the purpose of pumping was to wean the baby off the tip, but I'm no doctor, and I really don't know. I have never had a child myself, never breastfed or nothing like that, so I don't know. So this is just me speaking from outside looking in. So yeah, um, the dad said something that was kind of weird to me. He was like, the longer the better. The longer she breastfeeds, the better. I don't know. I don't know about that. That's just, like I said, it's different. It's a different thing, and they say formula's not good for the baby, and so the breast is the the best way to nurture your child. So I don't know. I don't have any problem with the child getting nourishment or nurturing, but I guess it's more or less the place that you choose to do so. So outside of that, I feel like Emily is straight disrespectful. So to end the conversation, she tells him to go in the kitchen and help her mom cook dinner. Dude just got here. You know what I'm saying? Dude just touched down. Yeah, dude, a couple days at least before you start hitting them like that. Like, it's crazy. Like, the disrespect. Like, the way I see her, and I talked about it on the last, like, she's a manipulator. Like, she's gonna pull everyone in to see things her way, and then she's gonna play the victim at the same time. I don't get it. So is she making Kobe look like this bad guy because he's saying, hey, do you have to be pumping milk right in the living room with your whole family here and me chilling right here? Like, can't you do that down in the room? But like, to her, it's like you can tell already that she's got the family wrapped around her finger. Like, she just, whatever she says goes, and that's from the dad, mom down. It's like they're just at her beck and call, and so they looking at Kobe like he bogus, and Kobe he need a friend, really. He need a friend. He need a person he can talk to, because he's kind of in her world now, and it sucks. That's gotta suck. You're away from your friends and family, and you really can't talk to anybody about something like this that's local, or even that is local, who understands her side and can explain it better. Because Emily is just really like, whatever, dude, go over there and cook some food with my mom. Like, I ain't trying to hear it. Now, I was looking at one of the Facebook feeds on 90 Day Fiance, and they said that Emily was drinking some liquor or some beer or some wine, I don't know, some kind of alcohol. And I know that at the same time, isn't supposed to be something you do while you breastfeeding. Now I know there's some kind of math or whatever that like if you're gonna be drinking and you pump the milk ahead of time and then you drink and then it should be out your body. And so I don't know if that was the case with her, but I don't know. You on TV, so people gonna be judging you regardless. Um, but yeah, so the way she talks to him, the way she talks to Kobe is very condescending, and I think it's hard to build up a man when you constantly talking down to him. You want this man to go out here and work, provide for his family, but then you talking to him like he a little, excuse my language, but like he a little bitch. Like I don't get it. Like that's not how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to. You're supposed to have respect for each other. He's not supposed to talk to her that way either. It's just you're supposed to have respect, and that goes both ways. And so she did mention that she liked him better when they were in China, when they were partying all the time. But when they were in China, they didn't have a kid. When they was in China, they didn't have these responsibilities. And he said when they were in China, he used to handle his business. He would take care of her. And so things are so much different now. And he's trying to, he's just trying to do what's right. Um, so they're at the dinner table and they're talking about getting married and all that stuff. And she, oh, he talks about how he proposed to her and all that. She brings up the fact that the ring that he got her is fake and that he needs to get her a new ring and all this. And it's like again, you're degrading him. You kicking him down when he's down. He gave you what he could. He gave you the best thing he could, and he's gonna work towards something better, maybe. Cause me, maybe not. I'd be like, well, you got what you got, or give me that back and let me go back to Africa or something. Cause I'm not feeling Emily, and I know it's got to be hard for him. He said at the table, they asked in his culture, like, who's the boss in a relationship? He said the man is the boss in the relationship. Well, they automatically was like, Emily's the boss. Emily's about to run this. And so it's gonna be some challenging stuff going on. I like it though, but it's gonna be some challenging stuff. Another thing, so after all of this, it's time for bed. They get into bed, and she gets upset with him for riling up the baby Coben. Um, so, there's two different points of view on this. She's used to her way of going to bed, doing whatever routine that they're used to. But now you got this man here who, of course, he's excited to see his son. And the more he gets to play with his son, I feel like he feels he's he's increasing that bond. He's building that bond with his son, and he needs that. He needs that. You want him to play daddy, but then you don't want him to be doing daddy things, and that's not gonna work. So, he needs that bond. He needs to play with him. He needs to know that that's his dad. And so, if you gotta stay up all night, it ain't like you got a job, Emily. So it ain't like you gotta get up and go somewhere. And Kobe ain't got no job neither. So whether he stays up all night creating that bond, it shouldn't be a big deal. It shouldn't be that big of a deal, especially when it's brand new. But she don't like it. And then it gets to the point where she like, you know what, he ain't gonna get to sleep. Um, Kobe is not gonna be able to sleep with you in the bed with us. So you need to go down the hall to the bed over there and go sleep in there. Now me, I would be so offended because I done flew from Africa to wherever the hell they stay, and you got me sleeping by myself in your house? Oh no, I'm sorry. Like, we gonna have to figure this out. Now he said he did talk to her because they talked about the size of the bed before he got there. And he was talking about, hey, You need to get a bigger bed so we can all be in the bed. And see, I think a lot of it was like they the manipulation. She told him, can't wait to have us all in the bed at the same time. I can't wait till we do this. I can't wait till we do that. And he came with the intentions to do all those things that they talked about. And since he's got there, she has just been kicking him down, kicking him down, kicking him down. Got him sleeping in another bed in the house, kicking him down. And he's sitting here like, I can't believe this. I can't believe it myself. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say for them. Emily is like, she's a spoiled brat. He got him a brat. And it's going to be tough to navigate around that whole situation because she's just going to take offense to everything he does. that anything that he does that is going to require any change from her, she's not going to be feeling it. All right, so now let's get to Bilal and Shaeeda. She said the house was a dream come true. I don't know. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that because, again, are you in this relationship because of me or because of this house? I understand that, having that house, especially compared to the one before that, is something nice. But at the end of the day, you still got to build on that relationship. So Bilal, in this episode, Bilal introduces her to his kids. Now that's a trip. Now that's a big thing. That's a huge thing. She's nervous, of course, but at the same time, she wants to be acknowledged as Bilal's wife, as Bilal's person, and so, and she wants the respect of bonus mom, which is something that a new term that I just heard, bonus mom, and that's basically, instead of saying stepmom, you say bonus mom because now you're getting more, you're getting extra. You're not, step just seems so, I don't know, like a downgrade or whatever. But bonus mom sounds like you went from mom and dad to now you got mom, dad, bonus mom, bonus dad. Like you're good. So it was weird. So when they first meet, there's a lot of uncomfortable silence. I get it because nobody knows each other. And now that she's in the picture, she's going to be taking a lot of his time. She's going to be playing a big role. And they're also all going to have to get together and do things, and they're going to have to enjoy each other. So the kids liking her and her liking the kids is a big thing in a relationship. So yeah, it's weird, It's I was uncomfortable watching it because I know, the kids can't be themselves, but they want to, and she can't be herself, but they want to, or she wants to. But you got to get over that awkward, first few meetings. So they ask her if she wants to play games, like pool and some games downstairs, and she's not a game player. I can't say that's a bad thing. That's a personality thing. Like if that's not what she is, then she isn't. But I feel like it's always a good thing to play games with kids and to kind of immerse yourself in the things that they like and use that as a way to build a bond, build a bridge so that you can meet in the middle and at least have something that connects you to. So she does. She plays pool, but she definitely lets it be known that she's not that person. That's not what she likes to do. She also wants the kids to call her Umi, which I guess in translation means mother, and I guess it's a term of respect. I felt like you have to earn that. Once you earn that title, you don't have to ask the kids to call that. Well, I mean, unless, like if they didn't know the term Umi, then of course they're not just gonna call you Umi, but any titles given, you um, you have to earn those. You can't just walk up in a restaurant or a store and say I'm the boss. And even if you took the job of the boss, sometimes you got to warm people up to you, to where they're comfortable calling you boss or comfortable calling you Umi. So I think for her, she's definitely gonna have to warm those kids up, and definitely playing the games, and doing the stuff like they were fishing on an episode, and she's gonna have to get out there and do that kind of stuff to warm them up to her, and then even bringing them into things that she likes, like the yoga. She can bring them in and be like, "This is me. Like, you gotta share. You gotta share." Um, so she calls the big sister. Oh, so she calls her big sister to update her on what's going on. Now, again, on the last episode, we talked about the kids. Like, I guess Bilal keeps blowing her off on the kids conversation, and she really wants to sit down and have a conversation on, like, when are we really gonna do this? Like, we talked about it. It was a good idea when we talked about it when I was in Trinidad and you was here, but now we're here together. We're in a position where we can make this stuff happen, and now you kind of backsliding. So what's going on with that? Um, so the sister is just like, that's not fair. That's not cool. You know, um, he's had his opportunity, and that was a weird one. He's had his opportunity to have his kids, his wife, and all that stuff. I used to say this all the time. No person who gets married is looking to be divorced that same day. Everyone who stands at that altar is looking at this as a life thing. So when he did that, he didn't look at it like, let me get this chance to get married and have kids, and then so when I meet the next woman, I'll have this done already. No. So that's not fair for her to be like, well, he did it already, and now it's your turn to do it. No, it's not. We're not taking turns being married and having kids. Um, he's trying to build a relationship, and if kids come from that relationship, it happens. And if not, with them being older, you know, it is what it is. Like, it's not his fault that she didn't have kids when she could, or when she was at her prime age or whatever. That's not his fault. So you can't blame him for having kids and you not. So yeah. But again, I feel like the reason why he's backsliding is because he doesn't want to be locked into this relationship until he is 100% about her. I think the whole childhood home played a big part in how he's moving. He wants to know he got a ride or die, and she hasn't shown that. So kids might be out of the question until she can show that. All right, so now we get into Benjamin. Um, Benny's in the States. His new name is New Jersey Benny. And he meets the parents and all that stuff. Now, they've been flying for over 24 hours, beat down. And now not to get too personal with me, but, I have kids in Australia and I've flown out there. And my goodness, that flight it is so long. Now, they went to Africa, but anytime you're spending, 20 hours on a plane or multiple planes, and he has a kid, so that's even more work. I can only imagine. But I guess through the flight, Ari slept, and Benny, he did his thing. He's a good guy. I think he's a good guy. I think has a very good head on his shoulder, and he wants to do the right thing. And I don't doubt that Ari wants to do the right thing as well. It's just her method is different, and it's not anyone's fault. Like, when I call whoever's spoiled, um, it's a good term and a bad term. As a parent, I feel like, of course, you would want to spoil your kid because of what you may have had or not had. If you grew up in a rough neighborhood and all that and didn't have things, well, once you get to a level where you can have things, you want your kid to be in a nice neighborhood, have anything and everything they want. But it's hard to give them that without them becoming or without them having expectations of this is how the world works. No, this is how it works in this house because of the things I went through or because I want to do these things for you. But don't get it twisted. You get out there in the real world, things don't work this way. And when you meet other people, they're not going to treat you this. Not necessarily they're going to treat you this way. So I think that's more how Ari is. She's just used to having these expectations filled by her parents. So they get into town. Mom's excited. Everybody's excited to see them. Um, Mom's got her an apartment. Well, got them an apartment to live in. It's right down the street from where they live. Um, very, very good thing for them. Nice big apartment. Only problem is, Mom's is not doing this forever. She's not supporting them forever. So as soon as they get in there and they get the tour, she's like, all right, I already put first and last months down. Utilities is good for the next couple months, but I need you guys to take this over ASAP. As soon as you can, I need you to take this immediately, yes. Like, don't play with me. Immediately, yes. You're going to take over these payments and you're going to, do your thing. So right off top, Ari complaining. And I understand why she's complaining. I just don't like that she complains. Um, she's complaining about the price of the apartment, price of everything, and like, oh, you just went and got me an apartment and got all this stuff without, figuring out what I can afford or what I can't afford. Now you put a bigger burden on us because we're gonna have to maintain this. So again, when I go back to this whole spoiled thing, um, see, moms did all the work, but this is her family also. Now you couldn't expected Binyam to find him an apartment in the States and find all that stuff and take care of all that stuff because he couldn't do it. But you know who could do it? Ari could have done it. Ari could have set all that stuff up and had it ready for when they return. They would have had a place to stay that they could afford. They could have bills that they could afford, and they could have had everything set for what they could afford. But Ari didn't do that. Ari sat on her behind and went back to Ethiopia and did whatever she did, probably on her parents' dollar. And then she want to come in and complain. Oh, well, this is gonna cost too much, and that's gonna. You had every opportunity to get that stuff done, and you chose not to. So the mom put them in something that she would be comfortable staying in. So I don't know. That's on you. So y'all need to get a good night's sleep. Get up in the morning and figure that out. Benjamin's ready to work. He just can't. So Ari, I don't know. I don't know what's up with her because it don't seem like she's trying to figure it out on her end to where she can work and get some of these bills knocked out, and because it's gonna be on her back until he can help. So then we get into Patrick and Thais. I like this couple. I like Patrick. He seems very genuine. I like John. Me and John could be boys. Me and John could share a beer and some Jameson together. Me and John, he would be cool. But in this situation, I think John might not be a good fit. So they start off with Patrick and Thais, and he buys her a puppy. Real cute little puppy, small little puppy. I felt like that was a real good, token of love It's like their first fur baby or first kid, because a lot of people refer to their pets as their children. So I think that was good. So in this episode, they get into introducing you to Thais. Now, the episode before this, they introduce you to Patrick and let you know about his past and how he's a weightlifter or bodybuilder. And now we talk about Thais and how she worked as a model, and um, she tells a little bit more about herself, like the fact that she's never dated an American man before. So that was very interesting. Um, she's really into her family, and you know, her dad should be dad of the year. He is a very genuine guy, very protective over his daughter. He loves his daughter, and he wants to see her with a good man. He doesn't like Patrick, not for anything specific that Patrick did. It's just for the fact that Patrick lives in the States, and he doesn't want to. He don't want his daughter to move to the States. He wants his daughter to be there with him. It's sad. It's sad. Dad breaks down crying, like it's sad, but she still leaves. She still wants to be with Patrick, and she is going to be with Patrick, but she's afraid to tell her dad that this is like a permanent move. I'm not just going to visit. I'm going to live out there and get married and all that stuff. So dad doesn't understand that. So they end up. She ends up flying in, and I give the embrace a 5 out of 5. That hug and all that. That was genuine love. It was nice. It was nice. Patrick says some stuff before she gets in about I hope she's not too tired to have sex, but I'm sure he probably been sitting around waiting, and so he ready to go on and knock that out the park. Did I say Patrick? Patrick's the one who want to knock it out the park. So as far as her moving in, she's not feeling John. She's letting this be known over and over again. And Patrick gets a little disrespectful because, John comes in the room while he's talking to Thais, and, he's just doing his John thing, he's just being himself. And she's just like, ugh, get him out of here, in her language. And I'm not sure whether Brazilian or Portuguese. I think it's Portuguese. So she's telling him in Portuguese, like, hey, get up out of here. You need to get up out of here. And so Patrick will just be like, hey, man, you can go. Please go. So, they pretty much let you know this is going to be a big blow up. So this is just tension that's mounting up. So as far as I lost track. So she doesn't want to tell. So she gets into town. She doesn't want to tell Patrick that she hasn't told her dad that she's moving out there for good. And I feel this is important because there's a part on the show where she's like, I'll go back at any time. And I feel like the fact that she hasn't told her dad that she's moving for good gives her a way to go back. So she's just kind of trying to weigh out her options. What's better? Is this not going to work? I got to go back. Is this going to work? I'll stay. And I'm sure like a lot of them are like that. If you fell in love with somebody online and everything was good, and then you met that person in person and they're totally different, of course you're going to be like, well, I'm packing my stuff and going back home because this ain't what I signed up for. All right, so next we got Cara and Guillermo. I like this couple. I say it every week. I like this couple. Kara, I think it's Kara. She kind of rubbed me a little wrong on this episode, but I still like her. I still like their love. Um, so they go to meet the family. Kara's dad passed away, and her uncle is like her father figure. He's pretty much stepped into that role. He was a private investigator at one time, and you can tell he's serious about his niece. He's serious about his niece. The thing I didn't like is that she kind of she was kind of instigating like some kind of not a beef per se, but she talking about he whoop your ass. Like we going to eat dinner. Ain't nobody trying to get no fight. Ain't nobody trying to get their ass whooped or whoop ass. We just want to have some good dinner, some good drinks, and some good laughs. Not no whoop ass. So, um, she just constantly kind of poking at her uncle, poking at Guillermo, and he's clearly kind of scared, and he's not scared, but he's just more like trying to be respectful and trying to make sure that he doesn't offend anyone or say the wrong thing. Um, so their little part wasn't too much. They talk back and forth about the things like they ask questions about um, is she the first American girl that he's ever seen or hooked up with? And I think some of those questions are loaded questions. Because if he said, "Oh yeah, I mess with multiple American women," then oh no, not good. But then, he said he kissed one, but Kara was different because he got sick and she took care of him and basically fulfilled like a wife role to him, and that was different than anything he had experienced. And from that, it became love. So I think the uncle's still skeptical. He's still looking at him sideways a little bit, but he made a good first impression. And you know what they say: you never get a second chance, or never get a second chance to make a first impression. So I think he did good. I think he did good. And last but not least, we got Eve and Mohamed. Now I don't know if it's me, but Mohamed seems so I don't want to say soft, but he's just so soft spoken and so timid. It seems like very timid. So that's interesting. To me, only because it just seems like most women want a manly man to go in and be like, "Hey, girl, this is how we gonna do." Kind of like Kobe with the breastfeeding, like, "Hey, get your titty out his mouth," stuff like that. But he's more of a timid person that has high expectations, so that's weird. So they spend their first night together. Of course, they smash. They got it in. And that's one thing about these couples. They are not ashamed to talk about we got it in twice last night, 3 times this morning, and like we're gonna get it in some more. Like they just put it out there. So she gets up and she's gotta go. She gotta go to work. That's one thing that Muhammad wasn't expecting. Now, to me, I feel like Muhammad flew in from wherever he flew in from. I'm not 100% sure. I forgot. But he flew in from a long, far away, country. You would think she would take some time off to kind of just, after the first day, lay in bed, decide to, like, show him the city that he's going to be living in, um, get him, meet some people. Like this dude is uprooted his whole life and moved into your house, and now you're going to work, and he doesn't know his way around. He can't go get some toast or some bread, toast, some bread if he needs to go to the store and get some bread. He can't do a lot of things, and she kind of gives him the bidet kit, So I know they have bidet kits that you can hook onto your toilet, and gives it to him like, hey, you hook this up. Well, one thing you will notice about Muhammad is he's not used to doing things on his own. She tells him like, hey, here's the stove, here's the kitchen, here's the fridge, here's the food. Fix yourself some of this and some of that. Well, he's not used to cooking for himself. He's not used to any of those appliances in there, and it's not a cultural thing. It's a he don't do those things. Well, it could be a cultural thing that he doesn't do those things, but it's not like where he's from they don't have stoves or they don't have refrigerators. He just never had to deal with them. So for her, she's kind of like, well, this is your new life. You know, this is what you're gonna have to learn how to do. He's not for that. He doesn't like that at all. Um, and he says it in a real timid way, but you can tell that somewhere down in there, he's a little angry. Um, and so she goes to work. He cooks his breakfast. And then he tries to figure out this bidet situation because he needs it. It's a thing, like it's a real thing. And I know I said on one of the episodes before, like I had no idea that the bidet was associated in some kind of loosely with religion, because they want to be clean when they're praying and when they're communicating with Allah. So if you're a very religious person, yeah, you want your bidet, and he wants his bidet. But he don't know how to put that thing onto a toilet. He don't know how to connect it now. I could talk stuff about his handyman skills, but then I'd just be talking shit about my handyman skills because I can't fix anything. I try to fix stuff. I even hung my paintings in this room, and I can't even hang them straight. So, it is what it is. I can get on a computer and I can make this podcast work like a champ. But don't ask me to change a toilet or put a bidet seat on your toilet because you're going to be upset. You're going to be upset with your boy. So, yeah. So, one of his problems with Eve is even with her leaving for work, he expected her to make him breakfast. That didn't happen. He has these expectations, and I don't know if they're expectations he's talked to her about. Maybe that's where it is. Maybe um, there's a break in communication because he's expecting one thing, and she's kind of like, "Welcome to the States. I gotta go to work. This is what people do in the States. We work." And so I think a lot of this could be handled with a conversation. They sit down, they work certain things out, like breakfast and all that stuff. Even if she hook him up with some microwavable breakfast and she just throw it in the microwave before she leave, so he can eat. But I don't think she signed up for another kid. I think she wants him to be a man. Now that's a problem too. Like you cannot be out here looking for a boy that you can turn into a man. Like, I know certain people will look for younger people. Older people will look for younger people because they feel like they can mold them into that person they want them to be. That takes a lot. That takes a lot out of a person. It takes a lot out of both people. So if that's what she plans to do, it might not work. It definitely might not work for him because he's wanting a mom and she's wanting a man. And unless they can come together and meet in the middle, it's going to be bad. All right, so so she introduces her to her son. I feel like that was a very big thing. Very, very big. Now, they had met online, before, and he talked to the son online. So they've already established some kind of a relationship. which is really good, really good. Um, so they meet, and of course, the son is just so happy to meet him, and I think that is very big, and that's very important because with her son being special needs, you know, like she wants to make sure she's good on both ends. Not being selfish and just picking Mohammed because she's just infatuated with him, but then you know not really thinking about things on her son's side, and him being special needs isn't really. It does play a factor in it, but then at the same time, if he wasn't, they would still need that same thing. Because if you've ever been in a relationship with someone and their kids don't like you, a lot of times that means this relationship isn't going to go as far. Only because either she's going to get tired of the kids not liking you, or you're going to get tired of her kids not liking you. And so I've been in that situation before, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out. Like, you can only do so much before you're like, you know what? Let me give you peace. Let me give myself peace. So, but again, it worked out very well. But one thing that kind of was weird was like she ready for dude to start babysitting her kid. Like, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know if he ready for that because he need a babysitter himself. So I don't know about that. I don't know if Muhammad is that guy to be babysitting. I think it's Theran. I just don't see it. Not right off top. Not like, hey, welcome to America. Babysit my son. I think she definitely needs to. Um, he'll need some kind of instruction on how to care for her son. She'll definitely need to give him some kind of instruction, and then she's obviously gonna have to give him instruction on how to care for himself because he didn't sign up for this, and he thinks it's cute being the son's caremaker or care person, but that's gonna be until he has to cook for him, until he has to do all of the things like run a household for him while she's at work. Again, he didn't sign up for that. He signed up to be out here and have a mom take care of him, a mom that he can be, nasty with, and that's weird. But a mother figure that he can be nasty with, and that's weird too. It doesn't get any, it don't get any better than that. So I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna turn out. I feel like that's gonna be pretty bad. It's gonna end up bad. But I think that either they'll figure it out, or he'll go back. So with that being said, that ends that episode. And so it was a very good episode. But I saw the preview for next week's episode, and it looks fire. It looks fire. So I'm definitely going to be checking that one out. And I'm definitely going to do another podcast for it. So with that being said, hopefully you like the video. Hopefully you like the podcast. And stay tuned because next week's episode is fire. All right. I'll check you out next week.